Okay.
And I would like to officially now introduce you.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Amanda. We are privileged and blessed to have you doing a constellation for the Bramley apple tree for us.
Yes, it's my privilege. I'm so excited. I was reading it to my mom about the Bramley apple tree and we were both crying.
Oh,
it's so heart-opening and deeply moving.
It's such a special article or piece of writing, and the fact that I think it's already about 3 years old.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said there's nothing worse than being the facilitator and being the one that's crying the most, which can happen. Might be this time. Better get my tissues. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and if you've got a glass of water, that'll also help.
Yeah, actually, let me see if I've got water. I must just, will you guys give me a second? I'm just going to grab a glass of water, okay?
Yeah. And I'm just waiting also to see that, Vibke, can you hear us and see us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Yeah, so Yolandi, have you known about family constellations before?
I have actually done 2 of them, one for my family and one for a business venture. So they're very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is very exciting.
Yeah, we're going to constellate the Bramley tree and
that's
get information
wonderful
for our send tonight.
Yes, that's amazing. That was a very good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like really excited to get the event happening because I didn't want to say anything about it before, but I was so excited that I almost did say something.
Yeah, I noticed you couldn't keep it in when you said, did you notice we might know the person who's doing the so cute. And obviously Amanda, yes,
hello.
we're somehow all connected to her.
Yes, I was just saying to Kate, let's not talk about that now. Let's keep it until the end. Otherwise it's a whole other focus. And anyway, I'm already just about in tears. So we may as well not go there right now.
Yeah, we'll start with the Bramley.
Yeah, wow. So I will just give a little bit of an introduction to myself, a little bit about constellations, but maybe before I go there, maybe you guys can just introduce yourself. I don't know anything about any of you really, or even your group. So if there's anything that you feel like saying, just to, bring me in a little bit into your group, that would be really nice to hear.
Does someone else want to start?
No, I think go for it, Kate.
Okay, well, I'm the sort of originator of the group. I had read the Bramley Apple post on Facebook when I was still on Facebook. And I thought, I go to tree planting festivals and I talk to people about deforestation and the trouble of losing trees, which is all very 3D based. And I wanted to do something energetic for the trees as well, because I believe in both. I believe you've got to do physical actions and you've got to do energetic actions. And then the idea of forming a group of Reiki practitioners that would send Reiki to the Bramley apple tree came into my mind. And from there, it just seemed like a natural progression to keep on sending Reiki to a tree or a forest once a month, which we do. And that information about which tree or forest we send to also comes to me as a download, when my mind is clear, usually at the beginning of the month or after the previous send.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we've been
what
doing
is
that
your
for 2 years.
Day about today? So is it just various things, or do you have a get together once a month?
Yeah,
or-
it's our annual get together online that we, because I try and keep the group very administratively quiet. So basically we just receive the document about which tree or forest we're sending to via email. And then there's a small Telegram group where we can chat if we need to, but even that Telegram group is also quite quiet. So just to get more cohesion and for us to get to know each other a bit more, and also because it's our second birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
2 years old.
Yeah. So that's the
Okay.
idea of Open Day, and it's you know, just a gathering place for us once a year.
Okay, beautiful.
Mm.
Anyone else want to put anything in? You don't have to. Just only if you want to.
I think I just want to mention that this group has really been, for me personally, and I think for other people as well, a huge a growth catalyst for ourselves personally.
Mm.
And I think just feeling that connection with forests and trees all over the globe, you know, it almost creates this web of energy. So the sense of connection is very, very strong within our group and all around the globe. And I think, yeah, I just wanted to mention that has been a huge catalyst for me, and yeah, just a beautiful experience altogether. So I don't know if that
Yeah,
means
I'm
anything.
sure. Wow,
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
So how many forests and trees have you worked with over the 2 years?
Well, it's one a month, so it's at least 24.
Wow.
Yeah. And we
Wow.
get sometimes, not often, but sometimes we do see reports in the news that, you know, a forest was saved or they changed a legal thing about that forest. So we know it's having effects in the 3D.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
also just like to add that I love that the group has grown in the 2 years, and that there's the core group is 8, and then Kate has started a second group of 8, and that we're so international, that there's really participants from all over the world. And I think for that to be happening already within 2 years is amazing and wonderful and very positive for the planet. So that's great.
Wow, amazing, incredible. Beautiful. Anyone else?
And if I may can add, Kate is really driving this group, and it is fantastic. Yeah. So I'm living on a farm near Giant's Castle in the Drakensberg in South Africa, and I am very much in nature. So I'm surrounded by trees and animals, and I just love this group. And I think it's pretty amazing how we all connected, even not knowing each other on the physical level. So, but we are, or I feel that way. I think we are really connected with each other. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and as you can see, here's our little Doris.
Oh my God. Oh, you know.
She is just,
Oh,
and I really hope we get her through, little one. But that's one of the things, you know, on a farm, you're always busy with something, whether it's broken fences or sick animals or whatever. But I'm hugging trees in between.
sweet.
And Connie and Yolandi actually met in person yesterday for the first time, coincidentally.
Okay, wow, that's amazing.
That was amazing. She was sitting opposite me, look and said, Connie, and I look up and she said, trees.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that was so amazing.
Meant to be.
Yes, I think we just took the Open Day connection to the next level yesterday, accidentally.
Yes, you've set a very high benchmark.
Yeah. Yes.
Mary, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'll just add something, which is that I think I love being a part of this group because I've always felt really connected to nature, but where I live at home, I live in the city, and unless I make an effort to go out and connect with nature, it can be, it can be difficult in day-to-day lives. And that's why I love doing this group, because I feel like doing the Reiki sends it gives me the ability to connect to nature on that level, and actually an actual sometimes deeper level than even just going to these places physically and seeing trees. So that's why I love it. And I do think that it makes a huge difference that we're such an international group now, especially creating this web of connection. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thanks so much for the invitation, Kate. So I'll give you, it's such a pleasure. It feels amazing. I'll give you a little bit of a background in family constellations. Do any of you know anything about it at all?
Yeah, some of us have actually done constellations.
Okay.
I don't know. Apart from a video that Kate sent us yesterday, I'm completely new to it.
Okay. Any others?
Yeah, I'm also new to it.
Okay, who's that?
Connie.
Okay. Connie. You know, with these blocks, I can never, it's like 6 blocks in front of me. I can't always tell who's speaking.
Yeah.
So maybe as we go into the constellation, if you are speaking, yeah, it should be I don't want to put too many rules in place, but if by any chance I can't see who's speaking, then you can say your name if you want to.
Yeah.
So you done one, Connie?
No, I don't know anything about it, except what you said in your video. And I said earlier to Kate, and interesting enough, yesterday there was someone in our workshop who also does the family constellation. So I stumbled over it twice in a day. That was pretty amazing.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. You guys can leave because it's such a small group, you don't have to mute yourself. You can just speak. You can just leave it off or on, you can just speak whenever you feel like it. There's Vipka, I can see her face.
Okay.
That's
yes.
very nice.
Hi.
Hello.
And I have participated in family constellation before, so I'm familiar with it.
Okay, where are you based?
In Berlin, Germany.
Oh, you're in Berlin. Okay, yeah. So Bert Hellinger was from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of background. So there's this guy who was the founder, Bert Hellinger, who is German, and he came, I think it was in the 50s, somewhere around there, to South Africa to sort of came over as a missionary. And
didn't he go to KZN?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up in KwaZulu-Natal, studying, sort of exchanging with the Zulus, with the Sangomas, with the traditional healers. And his journey of learning became something like 27 years of exchanging sort of traditional wisdom. And so what it is it's a bit of a combination between the Sangoma processes and wisdoms with hybridized European sort of what was going at the time, which was kind of like phenomenology and existentialism and that kind of thing. And so the background is really this idea that you can tap into this knowing field of consciousness. You can tap into information non-locally. It doesn't matter, obviously, where the person or the thing is, or the aspect that you're tuning into. The physical location doesn't matter. That consciousness is available, what they call non-local awareness, which means wherever you are, you can access it. So that's what the non-locality aspect is. And of course, the whole thing behind the Sangomas is that they work with the ancestral realms. So accessing the ancestors, you know, people that have passed over, or people that are wanting to come in, that kind of thing. And they would use people as representatives for the ancestors, and they'd be able to get information out from those people, or it would come through as a channel. And so we see this kind of information now in science through Rupert Sheldrake. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Rupert Sheldrake, but he talks about the morphogenetic fields, or the morphic field of consciousness, which is like that we're living in this memory field. And
yeah, we in our group, we've referred quite often to Lynn McTaggart.
Yeah. So with Rupert Sheldrake's idea, it's like, okay, we're in the sea of consciousness, and this consciousness is made up of information. And so wherever it is that we choose to place our attention, so we can access the consciousness of that thing or that place or that time. And then there can be an exchange. So just see if there's anything more. I mean, I go kind of, it's probably not that interesting to you guys, but I go kind of sometimes into a little bit of the quantum physics and stuff like that behind the science. But maybe that's of less interest to you. I don't know if anybody's interested in the science.
Yolanda is.
I am. I'm very interested in it, and but yeah, I don't want to drag everyone else through it. But so you know, whatever you guys feel like.
No, I'm interested.
Okay, I'll keep it brief. So we are made up of many different levels, frequency levels of consciousness, right? And I don't work with the rainbow chakras. I think we're much bigger than the rainbow spectrum, because if you look at how tiny the spectrum of light is, the rainbows in the entire light spectrum, it's just this tiny little amount. And it's also just sitting within visible light. So for me, it doesn't make sense that, you know, we are these complete beings that can go beyond time and space and beyond visible light. And yet all of our centers are just visible light. So I don't believe that. I think that there's gamma ray, X-ray, infrared, you know, into this infinite unknown sort of state that we are plugged into. And you see different practitioners talking about it in different ways. Some say, you know, these are like chakras. Sorry about my shirt, it's a bit torn. These are chakras that are above the head, etc. So anyway, we won't go too far into it, but the bottom line of it is that, you know, we are plugged into the 0 point energy field, which is the point of God, you could say, the God point, the point of knowing, all knowing. And so in quantum physics, which kind of was a bit of a breakthrough about 100 years ago, we moved out of this idea of this linear world, and you know, that everything was fixed and we could measure and everything was seen, and this is just the visible world, and there's nothing other than that. And so when they had a whole lot of breakthroughs around looking subatomic, so within the atom, below, smaller, the tiny invisible world of consciousness, they started to notice that there were these 4 properties that measured the nature of this tiny little subatomic invisible reality. And the one was this thing called the observer effect. And the observer effect meant that as the person who was looking at this field sort of had a thought or had an expectation or looked for something in a certain place, the observation of the field would affect the field. Okay, So they had some tests, they did like double slit experiments and those kinds of things. And, you know, basically our, the God, you could say, or the observer that looks out of our eyes, is organizing the field. It's affecting the field. So they found this observer effect. And so that's the one principle. And then the other principle is this idea of the dual nature of light. Okay. So light has two natures. It's both a wave and a particle. So, but we don't so much have particle physics anymore. It's more like something is in a wave of probability. And then when you're looking at it or holding it in place or condensing it, then it moves into a spin state. And that spin state appears solid. Okay, so the more that
even then it's not really solid, is it?
No, it just feels very solid. Like if you run into a brick wall, you have an accident in the car, it feels very solid, right? But when you look deeply into the nature of the physical,
those atoms are still moving inside that seemingly solid thing.
Yeah, deeply within there's the subatomic realm. So that's the second one, is the dual nature of light. And then the third one is entanglement. And entanglement is that these particles that are everywhere moving in these probability fields, when they come into relationship to each other, they imprint the information into each other. So there's this exchange. So they have an experience together, these particles imprint each other, and then wherever they go, if they try and split them apart, they still affect each other, they still know each other. So, for example, you could think of ourselves metaphorically like little particles. You know, as we come together, we print information into each other, we exchange, and then when we go, we take the information or the exchange or the entanglement of that information with us. And of course, it would be the same with Reiki. You know, as you impart, you basically come into proximity with the person or the thing that you're doing Reiki with, like this. It's like an entanglement. You send an entanglement's not a negative word. It's just a scientific term for exchange of energies. So you exchange your energy with the object and it exchanges its energy back with you. And then you are like imprinted with each other. You leave this kind of energetic blueprint or imprint. So that's the idea of entanglement. And just trying to think of what the last one is. So there's observer effect, dual nature of light, entanglement, and then non-locality. So non-locality is this idea of the fact that consciousness is everywhere. It's not just here in front of us.
And it's not just in our minds.
Yeah, I have a different take on the mind. I'd say there's a God mind, which includes everything. So I've got a slightly different, more of a Buddhist definition of the mind. So non-locality means that everything is accessible no matter where it is. Everything, all information in all time and across all space. So all of those things you can see in both in Reiki, for example, long distance work, that kind of thing, and also with constellations. So if I use one of you or all of you, for example, as a representative of something that's not physically in front of us, then what you would do is you just become present in consciousness. I mean, this is like, I'm preaching much to the converted in this group, but you would just become present with the consciousness of the person or the thing, the target, like in remote viewing. And you would begin to access information. And then depending on what the objective is for your work of that day, then you would begin the work in the field. And you know, what's interesting about memory is that for me, memory is not a fixed thing. Memory is a coded field that can be reorganized. And so a lot of the work that we do in constellations is about reorganizing the memory field. So, for example, they talk a lot about how we are in a river, like a flowing ancestral river almost, of memory. Okay. And if your ancestors, even a couple of generations ago, have really, really struggled, then it's very likely that you have been passed down a memory field of struggle that is organizing your reality around you. And so what we can do in a constellation or in any healing modality is we can use and take the opportunity to look at the field. What is it that is being organized? What kind of coded field of memory? What kind of information? And then you can actually make changes in that field through awareness. And then you can reorganize the memory. So you can help the ancestral field to do what's called cleaning the lines. That's a Sangoma term. So if the parents or whatever have struggled many generations down, you can actually do direct work with the ancestors. Direct work, if they give permission, to release their trauma memory, come back into the line with a much cleaner. Hello, Kitty. Who's that?
That's Tegan. She just wanted to say hello.
Hello, Tegan. So once you help an ancestor clean a memory, say a trauma memory, for example, come back into the line, then the whole pattern reorganizes itself and you would be the beneficiary of that.
Yes.
So that's just a little bit. I don't know if there's any questions. I know it's a very brief overview. And there's obviously many. Oh, there's another one that wants to say hello.
Oh, he's a doggy.
Yeah, maybe they're all here to help today.
They're picking up on the energy.
So, for example, it's really important to know the reason why this is important is that people think that their destiny is fixed, right? People think, oh, you know, X, Y, and Z got this thing and it's in my genetics, and they all still think that genes are fixed, you know, but actually, no. Your genes are not fixed. In fact, it's been proved that the blueprint is not coming from the genes. The blueprint is coming from the consciousness patterning. And that through the study of quantum physics and epigenetics, it's the consciousness that is sending a signal, like a harmonic, that activates the genes. So you can actually completely reorganize the propensities that are being expressed in the genes. Yeah. And of course, Bruce Lipton did a lot of good work with that. And I know Lynn McTaggart was kind of in with Bruce Lipton around that time as well. So what Bruce Lipton says is the perception of your environment is the thing that creates or directs the signal into the genes. So actually perception is like everything when you're working with somebody or something. So
that's why it's so important how you look at something. I mean, if you're going to look at it with a negative mindset or a positive mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes back to the observer. You're the observer. And in that little video that I sent out with Kate, I was just explaining that, you know, your perceptions run in a grid of beliefs, that a lot of it comes from it can be passed down through your family line. And that kind of creates a reflection, sometimes unconsciously. in your environment. And so you want to work with getting out the perception that you have, working with it, changing it, and re-internalizing it. And then you kind of get this field adjustment. So any questions? That's a very sort of brief. Are there any links with what I've just said to your work?
Definitely.
What you've been doing?
I mean, not only do we get information from the trees and forests that we send Reiki to, but like I say, sometimes we get physical evidence that our work is working, because we'll see a news report or hear something on the TV or whatever, that, you know, this logging injunction was revoked, or that the tribal lands were returned to the indigenous tribal people, and things like that.
Yeah, and I can imagine also there's a consciousness transfer. So the consciousness of the tree is giving you some of its information, right?
Indeed.
So you become the whatever, the holder or the guardian of the information of the trees. And then you pass that, help that network to grow, the guardianship of the information that the trees are holding.
Yes, well, in the Bramley Apple article, the mention of this new crystalline grid that the trees can tap into if the mycelium network should say that it doesn't, but if it does disappear. And we've been strengthening that in each of our scenes. And then recently we got the information, because some of us are quite psychic, and we got the information that most trees around the planet now know about this new crystalline grid.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Yeah. It's humbling.
Yeah, very. How beautiful. And there's also these ancient trees that aren't even on the planet anymore. There's just like, they're just there in kind of spirit. They're also making themselves known.
Yes, much more and more.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Cape Town Table Mountain was the base of a huge tree once upon a time.
Yeah, and
like
that famous one, Giants something in America. I think it's called Giant's Castle. Yeah.
And, you know, of course, Shambhala was an ancient tree as well. Yeah, so there's and our DNA is also kind of a tree.
It is.
So there's our brain. Yeah. So there's lots of amazing, it's incredible work that you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yes, and even on a kind of more mundane level, trees think of themselves as standing ones, and they call humans walking ones.
Amazing. So just on a very simple technical level, I'm just getting ready for the constellation. There's basically the thing that's being constellated, which is the tree. And then there's the people that are here who are representatives. And so that's all of you are the representatives. And we can do different things with that. It's just going to be a matter of listening to what needs to happen and what needs to unfold and stuff like that. So I think the main intention, you can just tell me if that's correct, is you just want to listen to the tree today to see how it's doing, and if there's anything it wants to say and anything that it might need. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then from there we listen, then we can see how much time we've got to go to what it might need.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So what I was thinking is that all of you can be the tree instead of just one person. you know, you can just all be the body of the tree or the being of the tree. And I'll help you enroll yourselves into that, just to kind of do a little bit of a formal process. And then we'll get feedback from everybody, and then we'll see if there's time to do more. Okay, is that all right?
Perfect.
Okay. So I think let's just take a few minutes just to ground ourselves. You might have already done it at the beginning of your day, but I just want to sort of just close my eyes and just feel myself seated here on the chair or in the bed or wherever you are. Just following your breath a little bit. So I'm just going to do a very quick anchoring energy, and then we're going to go from there onto the tree. I feel that it's already with us, but so just imagine this beautiful ball of light that is your soul in your chest here. And just we're going to just let it drop down through the center of your body, down to the solar plexus, and down to the sacral chakra, and then to the base. And just dropping your attention into the earth, just a couple of meters down, doesn't have to be too far. Just allowing your awareness to keep dropping down through the beautiful layers of the earth, right into the center, into her beautiful center, where her soul is. And just see if there's a place there that you'd like to use as an anchor for the session. Maybe there's a central tree. I wonder if there's a tree energy that's in the center of Gaia's soul, maybe even like a galactic tree center. Maybe we want to find a little edge there and just anchor ourselves. And just see if you, while we're there, just see there might be a little bit of information for our session. There might not be words for it. You can either leave a part of yourself in the center of the earth with the Gaia's soul or her central tree. You can leave a part of yourself there. I just want to connect to the galactic aspects of ourselves as well. So just coming back up that ladder or that rope of consciousness. Just up and out through the crown. Into the heavens. The cosmic heavens above. Just calling in all the protection, all the beauty, all the love, all the rejuvenation, all the new frequencies that are coming in, all the new grids. The keepers of the trees, the guardians, the devas, the nature spirits. And gently just bringing back whatever feels right for our work. And coming back to the heart center. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, you don't even have to open your eyes yet if you don't want to. We will in a minute. We're just going to go to this Bramley apple tree. Is it a she? Do you know?
Yes.
Let's find her. I'm sure you already know her well.
It's funny because she's in the backyard of some student housing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can, if you're ready, I'm going to be opening my eyes. You don't have to, you can keep your eyes closed for a little bit longer. Just going to open my eyes so I can run the group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just enroll each of you as this Bramley apple tree. Does she have another name?
Not that we know
No,
of.
you're fine with that. That's
Yeah.
no
You
nickname.
can call her Bramley if you want.
Okay. Or Apple.
Yeah, Apple,
Okay.
whatever works.
All right. So if each of you can please put on your cameras, I'd just like to sort of follow you a little bit, if that's okay. Just like to be with you. So I'm going to just, you're each going to be the tree at the same time together. So you just imagine completely sort of embodying her. And I'm just going to give you a few minutes to feel for the information that's coming through. And as there's information coming through, you're welcome to just sort of share it. If there's other people, if there's a lot of sharing at the same time, it doesn't really matter because we're such a small group. So just take a minute just to move yourself into her feet, into her shoes, into her roots, into her backyard. And just see what comes up for you. Are there messages, images, impressions?
I've got the sensation of being an old woman with a tired body, but my mind is still bright.
I had the same tiredness came up for me.
I'm getting kind of as I'm like, there's a piece missing. There's something here is gone. So it's like I don't know what it is.
That's fine.
I feel sadness.
Okay.
But I also
lot.
feel like there's an immense sort of glowing hope.
Yeah, I also feel that there's not. It's the very fulfilled kind of feeling, like
it's like the opposite of all is
fulfilled.
lost.
Yes.
I get the idea of a longing, but like a positive longing for maybe what Yolanda said, that something is missing that has been there before, that she knows, and it's something very positive that she's longing for.
Okay. Anybody else got anything just for the moment? You don't have to, there's no pressure. Mary, anything there for you?
I just get a sense of reflection.
Okay.
Like she's reflecting back on something.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just ask her if there's anything in particular that she'd like to tell us. Is there a message or some guidance or just anything? Because we kind of listening and we'd love to hear from her. Does she want to tell us a story about anything, who she has been before, or where she's going, or
She's very happy that there's this species of apple that's in the world because of her.
I also get the sense that she's showing me like the multi-dimensional layers of herself, like I don't know how to word this, but like parallel or other dimensional selves. Like I see like a repetition of the image in different light frequencies, almost going out like that.
I also got that. But it's almost like she's kind of like, I've done my work, please can I go? And why are you holding on to me?
okay.
I feel like I get a similar message.
There's a sense of eternity or infinity or like, something like that.
Okay, anybody else getting anything, messages from her or anything else that's left to say for the moment? It can come through at any point. There's no rushing or
I'm getting that longing.
Sorry, you go, Vipka.
Okay, thanks. I'm picking up like a longing for a connection. I'm not quite sure what kind of connection or on what level, but a deeper connection. Maybe ancestral. Not
okay.
sure.
Connie, anything you want to say? You
Yeah, I
confirm
would
that.
confirm that. Yeah, I would
Okay.
also say it has to do with the past, and the connection definitely is with something in the past, maybe even a person.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Anything else that, so connection she wants, and
When Connie said a person, I got the person who planted her.
Yeah, I got that as well.
okay.
The person who tended her.
I don't know. Yeah, just a dark-haired guy, male person. I don't know who that is, but yeah, some.
Like when she was a sapling and she was being nurtured into becoming a tree, that person, she misses them a lot.
Okay. So anything about, I want to just ask her a couple of questions, and if anyone else has questions, you can also ask. You can just come out, stand out of the role at the moment, but anything about who she is, like in a deeper sense, and sort of where she is, you know, not
Definitely
just her physical.
Cosmic being. Comes
Cosmic
from the
mother
stars.
energy. Yes, that's also what I found.
Grandmother energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that's come to bring consciousness and knowledge and intelligence to us.
Okay, so when we went to the center of the earth, I saw a very clear seed, with kind of inscriptions on and whatever. And now we're asking her who she is. I get same seed image.
Beautiful.
So very, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm getting sort of Palladian, but also maybe Lyran.
Like bluish.
Yeah.
So what is in her apples that she is happy with transmitting or has transmitted into the earth? I mean, there must be seeds from her, right? Around the
Oh,
world.
yes. All around the world. And she's been grafted. But she doesn't like what they're doing with the cloning. The university at Nottinghamshire. She says, I cannot be cloned.
Okay.
I mean, you can do it physically, but not her essence. It's not possible.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get just one person to hold on to being her, and then I'm going to change the rest of you into another role. So who would like to just hold her role for now?
I'll do it.
Happy. Okay, there, Kate. I wanted to say, please, Kate, do it.
Okay, Kate, you can just hold on to her role for now. And then I'm going to give you guys all a different role, and let's see what comes through. So Murry, if you can represent what she's longing for, we don't know, but let's just give you that, what she's longing for. And Vipka, if you can be where she comes from. And Yolandi, can you be her children? Okay. And Connie, if you can let's just see what else was it that she needed. So we've got Murry being what she's longing for. Vipka is where she comes from, and her children.
Why doesn't Connie be
the
her
owner?
roots?
The owner.
Oh, the owner, yeah.
who
Yeah.
planted her, Connie. If you can just represent the owner that planted her. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to imagine yourself taking a position around the tree, you know, notice like where you stand, which direction are you sort of in front of her, behind her, coming towards her. Just notice sort of where you're ending up. And if you can just let me know.
I feel like flanking her on both sides, but a little like a step back.
Okay, sort of a little bit behind her.
A little bit behind her and a little bit to the side, yes.
Okay. And do you get a sense of where you are, Yolandi? Like, can you get a sense of, so you are her children. Where do you feel that you are? Like, do you have a sense of that?
I'm literally just seeing these vibrations like waves, like radio waves, you know how they're always depicted with, and it's like all over the earth actually. It's so weird. But
what kind of radio
yeah.
waves? Like good ones?
They look, yes, good ones.
Good.
They look just like vibrational frequencies. These little dots with these frequencies.
Oh wow!
Emitting from
beautiful
from them all over.
Okay.
But to get a physical sense of where I am, yeah, I don't know.
That's fine.
Right
You're probably all over. That's fine. You're all over. So can you move to in front of her and turn around and look at her?
Yes.
Just look at each other. Can she see you? Kate, can you see your children?
Yes, but they are all over the world.
That's okay. They're looking at you now. Just want to see.
There's an immense sense of love.
Hello, my babies.
See this beautiful face with love emitting from it. Yes.
Yeah, the rosy apple cheeks.
Anything you want to say to your children?
Just that I love you all, and I'm so grateful you're continuing the line where you are and embodying the information that was brought through me.
And now I see those little seeds everywhere again.
Mm-hmm. And is this your mum or your grandmum? So this would be your mum, hey? If you're the children, you kind of
first generation, you're saying, but it's like a it's yeah, like
powerful.
How can I explain? Yes, very powerful and big. It's like a fan. You know, a point, and then it just fans out. Like mothers is just a universal concept here, almost feels like. But I mean, there's great respect and love for the mother.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
But literally all the apples that have grown and been picked and then shipped elsewhere or trucked elsewhere, wherever they've gone to in the world, those seeds from those apples have taken root in a few places. Like not all, some of the seeds were crushed and can't grow, but some of the seeds were kept whole and fall into the ground and taken root. So those are the physical children that we're talking about. And then obviously all the apples that come from those trees are also producing seeds.
Yeah, so I'm coming to the rest of you. I just want to say the information that I sort of am getting about that is there's this sort of urgency to protect the seeds, right? To find the find and keep the original seeds. So it seems like, you know, obviously she doesn't want the hybridized GMO versions. So it's almost like how can we find out where these completely pure sort of the heirloom or whatever generation are, and to make sure that those go on. I don't know if that feels right to you.
Thank you. That's an aspect I hadn't thought of including in our send.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on the group for tonight.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we come back if there's more there. I'm just going to go to the others. So Murry, what's happening there for you? You are what she's longing for, is that right?
Yes, I am.
What are you picking up?
I feel like she's longing for peace.
Peace.
So almost to be returned to, you know, after she dies. But I feel like also she is longing for her continued knowledge to be maintained, but not in the sense that they're trying to maintain it at the moment, which, as Kate mentioned, I think I agree with, the sequencing of the genome. And I think, especially coming back to what you just said about trying to maintain the original seeds, I think is a big part of that as well. But I think she does also find peace in sort of the connection of knowledge that we're allowing to flow to other places. I'm just getting a real sense of wanting peace now, really.
Okay, so so she is going to find peace in the fact that we are listening and hearing her, and also understanding the wisdom of the transmission. And that a part of that, the fact that her unique frequency is being heard and integrated, right? And that the message of that is going out, that will bring her some peace.
Yes.
She'll actually be able to go, in a way, having transmitted that piece of information. Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting this unbelievable sort of this, like, how important it is to protect these seeds with this like ancient information that's in it, you know. And the images that I'm getting is like random mountains, and you know, like, it's not at all in these big fields where everything's being massively generated.
No, it's where people have eaten the apple and dropped the core.
Yeah.
While they were hiking or something.
Exactly. Okay, so let's hear from Vipka. Vipka, you'll have to just turn your sound on. You are where she comes from, is that right?
Right. Yes.
Tell us what you're seeing and feeling.
She's a cosmic being. I'm completely off the earth plane, off this physical presence, let's say. She's pure light. Like a transmitter of this information, cosmic information, universal information. She has been sent to Earth for a purpose, obviously. Getting the message that it's difficult at the moment to fulfill the purpose that she's been sent here to fulfill, which is like the spreading of this cosmic light, this cosmic information.
Yeah, this apple a day keeps the doctor away is a much bigger picture than what we could imagine. You know, it's like some serious health in there. Frequency health codes. Connie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You are her original planter.
Yes, and I have her in my lab.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, very, very small and fragile, and I'm wondering whether she ever will grow to a big tree. And there's a deep connection between these two, and it's not just connection between a man and a tree. It's actually more the connection between man as mankind, as humans, between all trees, and he's worried that he can't support her with his strength all the way along, because he feels like she's much stronger than him in the end.
And he's obviously not alive anymore because she's 200. Where is he? Where is he now? Do you have a sense of that?
Yes, actually I do have a sense of it. He is far away and he's young. And there is the sadness that they can't be together. But in a way, he is around. I don't know what that means.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect. I guess, Kate, is anything the tree wants to say to him?
That I see him and feel him and can reach out to him. He must believe that he can reach out to me through the field.
Do you have a sense of what your relationship is on a bigger level? Is there anything like any more information around that?
Well, he was chosen to nurture me because of his soul essence. He's a very special individual with a very strong connection to nature and pure soul. And he, where he's now, where his soul is now, he thinks that he can't connect with me, but he can, just through consciousness and the field.
Yeah, it's like,
sorry, I'm getting a very strong sense of so all the children represent the tree, and all of humanity represent the man. So it's almost that as if the relationship is continued and multiplied and extended through the generations, but also through us specifically. Like, this is where she can get that sense of reconnection again, maybe in this process, I don't know, or through our Reiki sense, or I have no idea. But sorry, I just had to bring that in quickly. Okay.
Yes, it would be really nice to know how to get hold of the seeds of this apple tree. And
well, like Mary lives in the UK.
Plant some, you know. Would that be possible? Do you think it's at all it's like a pilgrimage?
Well, I've asked Mary if she would be going past that way ever, and she mentioned that she might be.
Yes, I'll have to. It might not be immediate. It's a very strange place in the UK in terms of transport networks. We have these places where they're actually quite hard to get to. They take several trains, but it's definitely something that I would consider. I don't know if that we would be able to get the seeds from exactly that area.
Okay, where is it exactly? What area is it?
It's in Nottinghamshire.
Okay.
Which is sort of right in the middle of England.
Mm-hmm.
And is it further north than Birmingham and Manchester, or?
Yes. Yeah, by just a little bit, but it's strange. Our transport networks to places like Manchester are fairly straightforward, but our transport networks to just the other side is slightly more difficult.
I'm getting the sense there that it's almost as a protection, so it's not as easy to get to, so that it's a more protected area. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit outside of the mainstream, and just wanting to know from her, is that something that she would like, or is the seeds from her children?
I was going to say, I'm getting the message that one of her child trees, like if you could get an apple from one of her child trees, that would also be good, as it would be as good as getting seeds from her.
And do we know exactly what kind of seeds she is, and what kind of, do we know everything about her? Yeah,
well, it's a unique form of apple, like the Granny Smith and the Golden Delicious and the, it's the Bramley apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, anybody else feeling that there's any other important message or any other thing that they feel like saying, or?
I was just thinking if there was any way we could ask the university to stop their cloning project. The tree is saying that it really, you can go through the motions of, and you can make it look like you have cloned the tree, but you can't actually clone the tree's essence.
Okay, so let me just, I'd like to just close this particular section of the transmission, just so that that is complete and done, because I think each part of us, it feels to me there's like some piece of this that we each getting to hold and take forward. That might be a separate piece of work. So I'm going to just take you all out of your roles. So whatever role you're in, you can just step out of it now. So you're no longer her children, no longer the guy that planted her, no longer her longing, no longer where she's from, care, and no longer the tree. So just take a minute just to step out, just to let her go back to herself, wherever she is, everywhere. And I just want to first just hear from people how that was for you. I just want to find out what that was like.
It's very expansive. Like, I didn't feel like I was in my human body. So it was bigger than me.
Yeah, it might take a while to sort of integrate. It feels like we're quite sort of very expanded right now. So it's not so easy to sort of come back. Make some sort of sense of it other than what we've already done. just out of the sort of journey into the center of the earth, or into the above, was there any information there to share, or anything in particular that you felt was relevant?
Just that we really are all connected. I mean, not just the humans on Earth, but everything out there as well. And we, the more we can broaden and open our minds, the more we can encompass a more complete picture of what reality is.
Yeah, I felt the center of the earth to be so busy and like very, very, very fully activated at the moment. It's almost like it was like this, I don't think silicon is the right thing, but it was like this crystalline, I don't know, like very strong coded field in the center of the earth that is consolidating and consolidating. And it's just, as we sort of tune into it, the like came close to it, the information that I got was a bit like this crystalline akashic field almost, where just all the information that we need is there.
That very much ties in with what I felt with seeing the seed and encoded completely. So it's very much that same concept, and also like the diamond light. I don't know how else to describe it, but very much the crystalline geometric structures of the center of the earth. Yeah, definitely also agree with that, and fully coded, like
really powerful. Yeah,
it was like that scene in the Matrix where the code is just going
all
past.
the codes come running through. Very much. Yes, I agree with that. I also felt that.
So what I think is my personal feeling is that I don't want to do more.
No, I don't think we
should. It towards, the cloning or the this or the that, because the frequency is just beautiful. And I'd like to leave the connection as whole and not even give that a stage in our energy, that we spend a little bit of time now just, on your own or whatever. I don't know what you want to do, but just sort of just integrating a little bit,
Well, we did say that we were going to go from 9:30 to 11. And I suspect that all of us now will go off and do what we need to, whether we're making cups of tea or hugging our pet or whatever we're going to do. And we have another online event starting at 6 this evening. So that's plenty of time for us to ponder and reflect and integrate.
Yeah. So is everybody feeling all right to close? It's quite woo out there. But I feel personally like I've definitely ingested some of her, like I've taken the message and I really hear it loud and clear. So I do feel it's a great reminder to be the care holders and the guardians of these. I mean, I'm just calling it heirloom seeds, but the unmessed with ones, and see that we find a way for them to go on.
Yeah, and I think it's all of us need to go and just put our feet in the soil for 2 minutes at least.
Definitely.
And Amanda, thank you so very much. This has been so incredible, and you're such a good facilitator of the family constellations and the systemic constellations. We appreciate it, and we love you, and we're grateful, and we bless you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I just want to say, just let let the thought process continue, because it still feels like we're a bit in the process.
Yeah.
So just give it a bit of space. You know, there might be a need for more things that come up, like, you know, maybe a goodbye to her might come up at some point if she's very
well,
tired.
we're doing our group send to her tonight.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that more information will come through tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just whatever comes, hey, just let it flow, because you've got a whole day portal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
So blessings, and just to thank
Blessings
you
to
all.
you.
Some of you did Reiki.
Yes,
I want to
thank
say
you.
for those of you that did some Reiki for me, I want to
Yes.
thank you so much for that. It was it all of you?
Yeah, I think it was us that sent you the Reiki that ended up in the
Probably.
Constellation now.
Oh, well, it was so incredible. It was the most unbelievable experience to be a part of that. And I think I said to Kate, it feels to me like a real way of the future, you know, to have these Reiki warrior light transmissions. I mean, it's like nothing, you know, no darkness can really stand up to it. So it's just an extraordinary experience. So thank you so much.
And it was a wonderful exchange.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So lots of love to all of you.
Thanks,
and
Amanda.
Lots of love to you, Amanda.
Thanks for bringing me into your beautiful circle.
And thank you for quickly stepping up to become a Zoom host.
All right, guys, lots of love.
Yeah.
Have a
Love
good
to
day.
So well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.